Microphones.
My microphone's on. Maybe not pointed at me, though.
Yeah, mine's on.
I
Lights
call
on.
to order the workshop for Bullhead City School Board on Thursday, August 13th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Roll call. Present Melinda Sabrowski.
Fred Rushton here.
Charlene Diaz here.
Barb Zarsicki here.
Sheila Burnett here.
Item 1.3, 2025-2026, state assessments and LIAP goal progress. Oh, we get to hear
And
this
this is
from
Jen.
Jen? All right.
Hey.
Well, good evening.
Hi,
evening.
Jen.
All right, so we'll share, it's preliminary, so I'm pretty sure that this won't change much, but it's the preliminary results from AASA. They actually don't release the final results until November 1st, so that's kind of a long time to wait. So I'll show you what we have now. So this is just the overall spreadsheet of kind of the progression over the past few years. So these are cohorts. So like if you look at fourth grade, it's the same kids when they were third grade, the same kids when they were fourth grade. And then the last box on the right is the state average for this year. If you look at fourth grade, they had amazing growth. Amazing growth in fourth grade. And then even eighth grade, that's going from 3 to 6 is not a lot. 6th is definitely not where we want them to be, but at least they did make improvements and double their scores from when they were in 7th grade. Okay, if I move on. So here's third grade. Once again, we're blue, and then the state average is red. And then if we look at, this is the various schools. So of course the first 3 are ELA, the last 3 are math by school. So you see how it breaks down into minimally proficient, partially proficient, proficient, and highly proficient for those schools. I did not put Coyote Canyon on here because they have so few students that it'd be easy to identify who the student or students are. So I did not include Coyote Canyon on any of these main slides. And then if we look annual, so this is different students. So it's the third grade every year. So it's different students every year. So you can kind of see the progression as just a grade level.
Question.
Yes.
What were the years that we had IE here? Were that 22, 23, 24?
They started the
No.
second half
No,
of
23.
22. They helped us to create our improvement plans, and then 23, 24, and 25.
Well,
Well,
on this, it would be
20
23, 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, 23,
Okay.
25. Sorry.
Thank you.
And then fourth grade, you see the third grade, you see the students when they were in third grade, the students when they were in fourth grade, and then the state average. And then once again, you see the schools. So you see third and fourth grade, third and fourth grade, third and fourth grade. So it's a lot to look at. But especially in ELA, there's a lot of growth at all the schools with the cohort of students. And then this is each different students, but fourth grade every year. Fifth grade, so you see their third grade score, their fourth grade score, and their fifth grade, and then state average.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, what happened there?
The leadership team had a lot of discussion about this, and some of it is you're bringing all the students start over. You know, they go from fourth grade to fifth grade into a new school. So they're no longer with their same kids. You're mixing 3 schools together. So some of it may be social.
In 2024, we would,
Yes.
if we had had 2024 scores
Yes.
this year,
Yes.
we would have been with the state.
Pretty close.
And now
No, we're way down.
Half.
this 16 is less than half of 38. Can you explain what happened in that?
I can.
We do know that, the principal and leadership team at the middle school has spent a lot of time talking about this and talking about the instruction of math at 5th grade, and have put in place some changes for the current year. So we don't ignore these data. You know, we look at them, we analyze them, and they've spent quite a bit of time talking about what they need to do.
Did they have a reason, just even a suggestion of why we went from 38 to 22 to 16? Did they have an explanation?
They did.
What was their explanation?
Well, they had a number of, considerations. But their biggest consideration was ineffective instruction.
Okay.
So needless to say, that is a focus.
So let's see, cohorts. Fifth grade, year by year. And then sixth grade. The math, yeah.
Here we go again.
It's ridiculous.
Cohorts with proficiencies. And each year.
Jen, can you go back one slide, please?
Yep.
Okay, this is the cohort, right? So in, 2024, for the ELA, we had 39% at proficient. The same group in 2025 drops to 20%. Any logical reason for that?
Ben, it's going from that 4th grade to that 5th grade.
Yeah, it's the fourth grade.
No, it went from, oh yeah, from 4th
Yeah.
grade to 5th grade.
We have a typo there, yeah. The next to last column is 5th grade, not 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, still. Okay, thank you.
Well, they switch grades from 4th to 5th,
Yeah, I know.
or switch schools.
Yeah, I know, just like we did in junior high, but I still don't buy that.
So what did we have in 2023 that we don't have in 2025 or 2026? That's the year after COVID. Well, almost the year after COVID.
Yeah.
21, 22 was.
21, 22, 19, 20 was when we didn't have third quarter
Yeah.
of the year, or fourth quarter of the year.
Mhm.
2021 was when we were hybrid for the first half of the year.
Mhm.
21,
20,
22 is the first year we were back
Okay,
in person.
so that's the 2022 up here.
So that's the 2022.
So 2023 is actually the second year back.
Would be the second year back.
So what did we have then that we don't have now? Did the experience level of the teachers go down?
Well, it could be if we went back and looked at our cohort of teachers at the time, you know, I mean, when we're looking at these, I don't know that our teams look back that far to say what's different in 26 than in 23, for instance. You know, they're usually looking just at the prior year, not back 3 or 4 years. It could be that was a year that we had a big turnover of teachers. It could be, you know, and it's never one factor, it's always multiple factors. So I don't know. Jen, what are the 1s and 2s oh, I know, they go with the blues, don't they?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had to think about that.
Seventh grade.
Language arts isn't any better than math. Ah. Okay.
Proficiency.
Jen, I would mention to the board, we are doing some retraining for everybody in use of Eureka Math, effective use of Eureka Math this year. Not just because we have new people, but because folks, you know, it's time to refresh the people who've been here a while, and so part of our professional development this year is bringing back in the specialists to work with our folks on that.
So yeah, we had a training on the 31st of July. We have another one on the 4th of September. Now.
What is Eureka Math?
That's the program that we use as our resource to teach the standards. So it's a specific program from a publisher. It's a lot of we have quite a bit of online stuff, but there's lots of, you know, there's direct instruction. There are the things that we historically have done teaching math, but it is a math program. So most of us are familiar with publishers like Houghton Mifflin or some of the others. I'm drawing a total blank right now. Houghton Mifflin, McGraw-Hill. You
Right,
know, when
I
we were in
understand
school,
now.
those were the publishers that were, you know, pretty well known to us as students. Eureka Math is similar to that. It's just a different company.
Right, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Carolyn, how long have we been doing Eureka Math?
Since actually started, piloted just before I came into my position, and then really was using it that first year, because one of the things I had the opportunity to do during that time when I was before July 1st was to go off to the training that the principals were getting on the use of Eureka Math.
Yeah, that was the summer before.
Yeah, so that would have been the summer of 2019.
2019?
Eureka Math does have a new version.
So it's actually Engaged New York Math. So when we first adopted it, it was Engaged New York Math. It was
Right.
a free program designed in New York. And then as it turned into Eureka Math or Great Minds Math. Great Minds is the company that we get our professional development from. They are the company that is the only company we can find that will train us on that. Eureka Math or Great Minds Math is very highly rated as a math program.
Is it pretty well aligned with the new testing, the AASA?
The
'Cause-
math program, I mean, there are some differences because it's not directly, there are some differences between Arizona standards and what it teaches. So, for instance, I say fourth grade only has certain denominators when they talk about fractions. So they need to know when they go to the math program that there's certain problems and things they need to eliminate because it isn't exposed in our eighth grade standard. Certain things like that, but for the most part, it's outlined.
They have a newer version. Is that, what's it called?
Eureka Squared.
Eureka Squared, that we would be interested in. But of course, it requires money. And so, it's not that we're ignoring it. It's just that we're not there financially.
Yeah.
Because as you saw, the expense for the science, was over $300,000. So we would be looking at similar things for math if we were to move to, and it's the same program but upgraded.
No, it's not the same.
It isn't the same? I thought it was the same but upgraded.
So, Eureka Math is basically Engaged New York Math. But Eureka Math Squared has online components. Right now, everything we have is paper pencil. So like our manuals, all of that is paper pencil. If we went with Eureka Squared, what they did is they kind of streamlined Eureka Math, or Great Minds Math, or Engaged New York Math. They took feedback from teachers, took out some of the cumbersome, made it easier for teachers to follow, changed some of the module assessments because if you followed them, they're days long, and just improved it. They also have, so right now, if our teachers needed to go backwards and wanted to find lessons, say I teach fifth grade, I want to go back because students are struggling in like a third grade standard, they have to go pull all of the third grade manual and go through it to try to find that standard. The online version, you could just type in the standard, it would show you the lessons that you need to do to improve that. So there's the digital component streamlines instruction for teachers.
Okay.
See, 7th grade, different kids, but 7th grade everything. Proficiency for 8th grade. Next year. And then science, this was probably our biggest surprise because if we looked at our DNA, which is our benchmark, the math aligned pretty closely. The results on our DNA benchmark quarter 4 3 and 4 match pretty closely to what we have on the AASA. The ELA, it seems our benchmarks are harder than the state assessment, so our results on AASA are better than we had on our benchmark assessment. Science was the big surprise. Because if you remember our benchmark scores and all this, the teachers who are getting the reward or the bonus for improving their scores, they had very high proficiency on our benchmark, and it does not compare at all to what we see on the state assessment.
So go back one slide for a minute. Okay.
We can't really compare cohorts very well, because it's only tested in 5th and 8th. So I guess if you look at like 5th grade in 2023 would be the 8th grade in 2026. So you can kind of that one. We did start a new science program this year, so it has a lot of experiments and hands-on, but it's something that will increase the proficiency and the understanding for our students. So then, just a review of our goals. 2nd grade, we talked about it. 2nd grade doesn't do the state assessment. We had an overall 26% average in ELA, well below what our goal was 2 years ago when we created the goal for 45%, special education as well. EL proficiency, we wanted 25% of students to reclassify. We had 22, but a little over 22% that reclassified according to the state. So the state only recognizes reclassification as being totally proficient. So it doesn't matter if they go from like pre-emergent to emergent or emergent to basic, it's just, are they proficient? So we did almost meet that goal, but for students who grew at least one category, we had almost 55%.
So in ELA,
Mhm.
what percentage did we have this year? Or 2024? Were we at 26% in 2024?
Yes.
What were we this year?
This year, we had an average of 26%.
We were at 26% this year?
Yes.
So we didn't change anything from 24?
No. As an average. Certain grade levels did, like if you go back at 4th grade, I mean, they had amazing growth. So if we went back and looked at that, yes, certain grade levels showed a lot of growth. But the overall average from 3rd to 8th
I'm
did
thinking
not.
that 45% is way overreaching. I don't think that's even a possibility.
It's not a SMART goal if it's not achievable, is what you're saying.
Not achievable.
And our students experiencing homeless, their average was 41%. And the goal was 53.
So who set the percentages? Did you guys?
We met as like a district leadership team. We looked at the results from a couple years ago and where we wanted to be 2 years from there.
I'm thinking I'd go back to the leadership team and check some numbers.
Well, our goals, we looked at that for our goals for this year, because keep in mind, it's a 2-year, you're looking at it and you're setting a goal for 2 years from now. So this was a goal that was set 2 years ago. I think, as I recall in our conversation this year, that we had the same thought you did, that 45% was unreasonable, unattainable in 2 years' time. And so as I recall, our goal that we wrote in the spring this year for 2 years is much more realistic.
Was that because of IE that you were hoping it would bump it up higher than maybe what?
Well, it may have been one of the
That might be a piece
factors.
of it.
Yeah, I mean, we look at lots of factors, but that was probably one of our factors, yes.
So same, we increased 1% as an overall average amount. The special education students did not even come close to their goal, and then our students experiencing homelessness, they exceeded their goal.
When a teacher looks at something like that, though, and there's a certain amount of defeat that's in that, those percentages are all wrong.
Yeah.
They should at least be set so they might be obtainable.
I know they are, I believe.
You know, if you're going
better
from
for going into next
14
year.
To
I'm looking
35.
at third to 8. If you're going from 14% to 35, I'd say 14 to 20.
Yeah.
But think in terms of your class of 25, okay? If you're looking at 14% of that class increasing, okay? That's roughly 2 students. And so we say to them, when you're setting your goals, think about the number of students in your classroom that you are trying to increase their proficiency. So if I have 25 students, if my goal is only to increase the proficiency, or is to increase the proficiency of only 2 students, that's not an acceptable goal either. Now, 35% might or might not be too much, but when you think about it that way, as a teacher, if I only increase the percentage growth in proficiency for 2 of my 25 students, I don't think that's acceptable.
Well,
I don't think that's
obviously-
acceptable.
Obviously, that hasn't even happened.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, but that's the way we need to break this down for, we can talk about the whole numbers here because that's what we need to do. We don't need anything to be identifiable by class, by student or that kind of thing, but to make it real for an individual teacher, we need to talk about it that way. What is 14% of your class? What is 35% of your class? I would hope that teachers would be thinking, I want 35% of my class to show growth or to be proficient.
8 students.
I want more than 35% of my class to be proficient, but if I'm looking for growth from 2 years ago to this year, I certainly would want at least that many to show growth. I really would want more than that to show growth. So part of it is looking at what is our target. Are we looking at proficiency? So the second one here, AASA results equal 15% average proficiency. Okay, if that's proficiency in my class, I only have, out of my 25 students, 2 who are proficient. That's not a good goal for me. I mean, that's not a good record for me as a teacher. So, we look at that and we look at growth too. If we set a goal for growth, then, I want all of my students to grow. I want 100% of my students to show growth of some sort. Not necessarily the same growth, but some growth. I want, based on what I have, X percentage to be proficient. If we think about it in those terms, and if each teacher thinks about it in terms of their own class, that makes it much more
but if you
accessible
give
to them as
an
a people.
attainable goal, you go from 14 to 20%.
Mhm.
That is more obtainable, then there's more success.
In
and
1 year, yes.
Success breeds success. and
Absolutely.
This is breeding failure.
It could.
Something is breeding failure.
But isn't also determined, if you're doing it for 2 years, you're depending on the teacher in between.
Yeah.
Also.
Mhm.
So it's not just you. So that's another factor, that one in between has also had to have the same ideology of
Yes.
of overachieving. I mean, that's the big thing. It's not even, like you said, yeah, we want the minimal, but we want more. I would want 100% of my kids to be highly proficient, which is not realistic. But yeah, you have to depend on other people too.
And I already talked about how science was very disciplined as well. So I'm gonna move into letter grades now. So I'm gonna show you some things now. Once again, this is all preliminary. Letter grades don't come out till November 1st. But this is based on if nothing changes. So if they don't change the cut scores on what makes schools A, B, C, D, and F, then there's only one section that we believe they're going to they may change, and that's the English language learners, because they did lower the cut scores on the Zella test this year, which then kind of changed the dynamics of that percentage. But this is how our letter grades are determined. So the percentage of students who are proficient is 30% of the points out of 100, 30 points out of 100. A growth score. That's hard for some of our schools because we only have like third and fourth in a school. So you can only show growth in that school from their third grade score to their fourth grade score. So it's a little harder in the makeup of our schools, but because they're only in the school testing for 2 years unless they rotate. English learners, that is their reclassification to proficient on the Zella test. And then acceleration and readiness, 10 points, and this is how those points are determined. For improving in 8th grade math, we can get up to 5 points. Decreasing the number of students who are minimally proficient in 3rd grade on the reading assessment, improving our chronic absenteeism, all of our subgroups, whether it's like ethnicity or special education, EL, free and reduced lunch, improving those subgroups of students. And then the special ed inclusion, it's almost like bonus points. So you take the state average of the students that are considered inclusion, and if we have a higher percentage than the state average, you get those 2 points. That doesn't have a whole lot to do with proficiency or growth on the assessment. It has to do with kind of how the students' IEPs have them receiving services. So this is a lot to look at, but what I would like you to look at them is, so the blue, like the blue that's on the left-hand side, the darker blue, that is the proficiency. So they take the average proficiency of your reading and math, and that's the average proficiency for each school. But the growth scores are the orange scores. Now, if you remember, that's growing students, improving their scores from what last year to this year, and you cap off at 50 points. So, Desert Valley earned all 50 points for growth in students. Diamondback, Fox Creek, Sunrise, pretty close to that 50. And then Bullhead City Middle School, where we saw 5th and 6th grade struggled, were the ones that had the least amount of growth. So that could even be a student who in 3rd grade was at the bottom of minimally proficient, and in 4th grade was at the middle of minimally proficient. It's growth.
So that's 77 points, not 77 kids.
No, it's
Okay,
points on this
Okay.
grading scale.
Yeah. And then if you look at the light blue, the taller light blue, that is the total number of points out of 100 that each student or each school earned.
And keep in mind, this is such a complicated formula because it incorporates ELA, math, science, okay? Incorporates all of those scores in the thing. I mean, it's a very complex formula.
So then, I'm just an easier way to look at it. If you look at the proficiency points, the growth points, all the schools receive the full 10 points for EL proficiency, even though I think the cut scores are going to change for that. I believe we'll still earn all 10 at all of our schools. They do a really good job with our EL students. And then you see the various, the A/R as all of the acceleration and readiness points. So some of our schools earned well more than 10 points, but they're only allowed to earn up to 10 points. So you can see like Diamondback received 11, 12, 13 points, but they're only allowed to have 10 total. So then, this isn't official, but if cut scores from last year do not change to this year, this is what we can expect on November 1st when they announce our letter grades. And the major reason for that is all the growth that our students had from last year to this year. So even though we're not meeting the proficiency, we are growing students. And I would like to say that Sunrise was only half of a point away from an A. Questions or comments?
So we'll go over these once we get the actual results again.
Well, we have to announce the end results, so they have to be publicized. So we may not go over this whole thing, but at least the endpoints and what the letter grades are.
And we're being very cautious about, publicizing or, talking about this because it could change. Okay, could change. We're pleased. You all recall, particularly with the growth. And you all remember the letter we got from the State Department about, because Fox Creek had been had a D grade for 2 years prior, and if they had gotten a D this year, then they would have been automatically considered an F, and we would have had a whole lot of things that we needed to do relative to that. So needless to say, we're pleased with the growth points that they got on this so that we don't have to face that. For me, primarily because the amount of time that the folks at the school would have had to have spent responding and following all of those things that were in that multi-page document that you got as being a third year school in a D takes away from instructional time and working with students. And so I'm particularly excited about the fact that they're not going to have to spend all of that time on planning and reassessing and doing all of that, and can actually continue to focus on improved instruction and improved proficiency with our students, so direct services to students. And needless to say, our schools that were Ds last year, we're pleased that they're not. That they've come up, cause for celebration for all of those, and nothing to celebrate in this case with Bullhead City Middle School, but they're very on top of this and know where they're going and what they're doing. So some things that we hope we can celebrate in November. I'm sorry, Fred.
They're very close to the threshold of the D mark too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
To be a C.
That could be easily a C with
Yes.
a few percentage points.
Yes.
Well, this is certainly more refreshing than the bar graphs we were looking at.
Once again, small groups, and it's the attention to the standards that we've done in the past couple of years, and this aligning instruction to the tasks that we're expecting students to do. The tier 2 and tier 3 instruction, we're giving students who need more instruction, so they're growing students.
And the increased emphasis on students doing the work.
Yeah.
Students doing the work of learning, as opposed to being receptors, receivers of information or receivers of direct, we still do direct instruction. We have to when we introduce new things. But then the students are doing the work, and doing the work of learning. And I think that growth thing reflects that. Jen and Sandra tell me that when they've been out in classrooms since school started, particularly the last 2 weeks, everybody kind of stayed out of rooms the first week because you want to establish routines and not have just, interruptions and those kinds of things. But I'm hearing very good things from them about what they're seeing in classrooms, both with our veteran folks and our new teachers. And that's very encouraging too.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you for the information. Appreciate it.
Indeed.
Item 1.4, Governing Board Community Outreach. We met in a workshop, and we got a lot of stuff done, and I actually put mine in a little folder so that I can have it available to me at any time. So what's the proposition?
Okay, so Madam President, the only reason that I put this on the workshop was that actually I received this 2-page summary of Proposition 320, which will be on the ballot. And it so closely connects with part of the information that you all will be presenting, and particularly this chart that I sent you to be used with when you're out speaking, if you want, and I'll have it so you've got a poster or whatever with that. But Prop 320 initially, as written, would apply to 89 school districts in the state, and we are not one of those 89. Okay, but as happens, it's possible that there would be a follow-up in the future that would affect all school districts in the state. And so it is proposing to the voters that these 89 districts in this case, which happen to be all of the school districts in Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima counties, all of them, large, city, suburban, rural, and any other school district in the state that has a student population of over 7,500. So that would be Flagstaff, Yuma Elementary, and Yuma Union High School districts have over 7,500. So this proposition would affect them and say that their budget must reflect 60% of the budget being spent on instruction as defined by the Auditor General's office. So this sheet explains that. It takes a fairly long law, which is they're always that way, or almost always that way, and just gives the facts about what the proposition is proposing. Okay, and I just wanted you to be aware of it because you might get questions about. Okay, I noticed that for Bullhead City, instruction part of the budget is 47.4%. Now, when we look at the whole category that the AG's office calls classroom spending, for us, it's 63.5%. Okay, but this bill limits that definition to just one part of that classroom spending, to the instruction part. So I wanted you to know that you've got, if somebody's asking you about this, and they may ask you for your opinion, we have to be very careful. We can't politic about it, we can't campaign one way or the other, but I wanted you to be sure that you had the facts of what this proposition is saying and what it's saying in relationship to our budget. Because if you get questions, it's going to be, they will be questions about our budget in relationship to this. So I just thought it was a timely piece of information for you to have. Okay? If you end up with any questions about that, you can let me know, and I'll try to walk you through it. And I've attended a couple of webinars on this, and I found this to be probably the most cogent representation of what the proposition is doing, and it keeps it pretty brief, so it was nice. So it was information only.
Okay.
I'm still working on the other components for you. I got busy doing some other things this week, but I will get those for you.
Well, people don't seem to be beating down our doors anyway. So.
Well, I don't know that we've announced it, that you all have announced it yet either, but I want to keep my promise to you to have the materials that you need.
And you're going to send that on to us too, so.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. 1.5, adjourn the workshop. I need a motion to adjourn the workshop.
I make a motion, we adjourn the workshop.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzicki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Okay, I'm going to immediately call the regular meeting for Bullhead City School Board on Thursday, August 13th, 2026 at, it looks like 6:17. Gotta go by the clock. Not right. Looks like 6:17. Roll call. Present, Melinda Sabrowski.
Fred Rushton here.
Charlene Diaz here.
Barb Zarzicki here.
Sheila Burnett here.
Would you guys please stand and say the pledge with me?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens present. Do we have any citizens present? I don't see any, so I'm just going to bypass 2.5.
No, you are going to have a,
Call to the public.
you are going to have a 2.5.
We are?
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
Okay.
You just didn't know to fill out the
Ah, he
paperwork.
didn't know where the paper was. Okay.
So Cass can play the recording. and-
Okay, Cass, play the recording. Or do you want me to just say it?
No, she's
I
got
can
it.
read it to
This is the time that the public may speak to the governing board regarding issues within the jurisdiction of the governing board and subject to reasonable time, space, and manner restrictions as the governing board may establish. See policy BEDH. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual unless specifically waived by the governing board. At the conclusion of the call to the public, individual members of the governing board may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. However, the governing board cannot take action on matters that have not been noticed in advance as part of the agenda.
So what do we got?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Explain to a lovely crowd. Good evening, board members. My name is Brent Schnabel. I serve as teacher and athletic director at Fox Creek. I reside at 895 Citrus Street here in Bullhead City, Arizona. I am addressing you this evening to formally express my grave concerns regarding the deteriorating conditions of the outdoor sports facilities at Fox Creek, specifically the football field as well as the baseball field and softball fields. And I have brought photographs of everything that I'm about to talk about. Last December, our football and soccer field was decommissioned due to some significant safety hazards, primarily related to the protruding sprinklers that have dug holes in our field, creating some tripping hazards for our student athletes. While we were fortunate to secure a temporary agreement with the city, and thank you to Dr. Stewart for working with them with that to be able to have a soccer team last year, That situation, I do not believe, is sustainable for a long-term solution. Also, the logistical challenges of the football team are far more complex. The amount of equipment and training gear required for transporting these items makes having a football team unfeasible. Consequently, without a functioning home field, we have been unable to field a football team for this season. A significant loss to our school community. This also has a ripple effect. The impact of this situation extends far beyond our campus. Our inability to host or participate in games means that the other junior highs in the area have one less field and one less team, to play against. Furthermore, as you know, our program serves as a pipeline to the high school, which means we are not training football players to go to their program with the kind of experience that my coaches and I provide, which diminishes the overall quality and the reputation of our district's legacy. Now, I'm not the kind of person to come up here and just complain without offering some potential solutions. So I have a few proposals. Grants and partnerships. There are various professional and collegiate organizations that will offer their turf after their football season is over with. They basically roll it up like a carpet and donate it to various public schools. Now, I admit I do not know all the details that go into such an endeavor, but I am willing to spend some personal time on my own to research the topic and come back to you with that. The idea of corporate sponsorship. We can look into the possibility of partnering with local businesses and organizations that would be willing to donate equipment, funds, or professional services to help revitalize our facilities, make it a community effort. And finally, and this is, I'm sure, going to be the least popular of my suggestions, the possibility of a bond. I know it's a very difficult conversation, and taxpayers don't like to be asked for more money, but a big picture approach for our aging facilities might be to raise a bond that would not only help Fox Creek's situation, but the entire district as well, to provide high quality facilities for all of our schools and all of our students in the district. Thank you very much for your time and dedication to our students and considering these matters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Like I said, the photographs I have, I don't know if anybody wants to, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Stewart, I know that money is tight, but Mr. Schnabel did present us with some possibilities. Could you possibly look into as many of those as you can and get back to us? Maybe we can help somehow. Please?
Absolutely.
I think the one thing I would like to see is maybe some type of tally of what would need to be done and possible amount that it would take to do it. Because if we have no idea of what needs to be done or how much it's going to cost, we really have nothing. If we had that, at least we'd at least know if it's a pipe dream or if it's something we could work with.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll include that.
Yeah, it would be
Thank you.
nice.
Item 2.6, donations. Again, people have come out of the woodwork and given the schools lots of good things. Thank you to everybody who did this.
I want you to see that the old folks up there at the reserve, we do
I saw that.
collect stuff, and we had a big ice cream social last week and did a lot of collecting.
That's awesome.
Item
Melinda, where did you get this? Where did you get the portable cable scroll saw from?
I'm sorry, what?
What you donated the saw? Where is that from?
Where'd those saws come from?
Yeah, you donated a saw. I think that's pretty cool.
I moved my wood shop to a separate shed, and it didn't fit.
Okay.
And so I thought,
Awesome.
who would I give it to? And so this school came around and they immediately jumped on top of it, and I said, fine. They came and got it and were happy. When they saw Porter Cable, they were just extremely happy.
That's awesome.
Item 2.7, adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Oh, with a change.
With the change, let's see. Item 4.1, I'll look at that one. Second reading needs to be changed to action item. In other words, we've got to take some action on 4.1. So look at 4.1. And
It's old business.
yeah, it's an old business and mine has already been changed.
Yeah.
Does everybody see that?
Mhm.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented with the change to item 4.1 to read action item rather than second reading.
Second?
I second that motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Hi, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzicki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
Okay, Dr. Stewart.
Madam President and board members, I have a very long list of items in front of you, but I'll try to make it manageable here for you. Since you're considering adoption of all of those Section G policy changes in old business, there are also then corresponding changes in regulations and exhibits for many of those items. So you see those listed here. You also have, with that, the very first item is actually a list of all of these items. So I'm not going to go through all of these. I will tell you that the bold items, the ones that are on the list in bold, are Bullhead City versions, Bullhead City School District versions of those changes, and we have some of those because we've worked pretty hard to change some of those to fit our needs as a district, and I'm recommending that we stick with what we built on those as opposed to kind of the cookie cutter ones from ASBA. You can also see a very long list of items that are deleted with the other changes that go along with the change in policies. A good many of them have to do with the sections that are used to be GD that separated non-certificated employees from certificated. So many of these changes involve one word, two words, change in the title, minimal changes. Whether it's our existing policy or regulations and exhibits, or the ones recommended by ASBA. There are a couple in there that have nothing to do with Section G, and they were things that we needed to change anyway, and I put them on the list. In ordinary circumstances, they would have been, here by themselves as opposed to a whole section. I'll try to answer any questions you might have about those.
They looked all pretty standard to me when I looked through
They
them.
are pretty standard.
Yeah.
The other reports that I'd like to call attention to, the facilities report. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be down at the bottom, Cass. It's going to be toward the bottom. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
And I know I put it in here, so somewhere along the line it disappeared. But it's the typical one that tells you how many outstanding work orders we had, how many new ones, how many got closed. I met with facilities folks this week to discuss the things that are included later in this agenda. And I was told that in the 4 years that we have had our own facilities department, they have cleared over 14,000 work orders.
Nice.
So I think that's pretty impressive. The paper versions of all of those are actually stacked up on the credenza of one of the workers. And I suggested that they get put in boxes and put in the warehouse, to be considered for, the typical 5-year destruction cycle. But for some reason, they've kept them all stacked up, and pretty much fills up that credenza, let me tell you. I would like to look at, please, the student monthly enrollment. The 5-year one, if you would, that one, Cass, please. Okay, so this is enrollment. So this is the number of students that we have, had the paperwork for, some of whom rolled over from last year, and some of whom were our new students to us. And then it subtracted out anybody who had withdrawn. So on paper, we have 2,063 students, okay? And you can see the huge drop in 6 years, 5 years, okay? And a significant part of that drop had to do with the opening of other charters or private schools in the area who, that have drawn students from us. I will tell you that our actual bodies in seats, the first 10 days of school, was just at 1,800.
So we're missing about 200 kids.
No, I'm sorry, 1,899. So right at 1,900, sorry, I'm sorry. We're missing 90 plus from bodies in seats. So, I'm not panicking about that yet. We'll wait to see what our numbers look like, bodies in seats after Labor Day. That kind of gives us a little more, because there's still people who think schools don't start until after Labor Day. A few. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay?
Looks like a budget revision otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm already working on it. So, because that's significant. That's $500,000. So, and our budget is already pretty tight. So, yeah. And we've also been told that the cost of living raise for January is likely to be 60 cents an hour. So, of course, I'm calculating what that will do to our budget for our non-certificated employees. Okay. So, let's see. I was thinking there was something else, but now I don't recall what it was. Discipline you got for July. We had all of 2 days in July, so.
I didn't even look at
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did look good. It did look good. So, that's kind of where we are.
Are there any questions for Dr. Stewart?
I do have one question. One of the things I caught, and I can't remember where, I wish I would have written down the location, the address of it, but it was like a student count. And do we have 405 sped students?
20% of our students, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in Ms. Hall's report. Yes, we have.
Yeah, I caught that and I thought, wow, I didn't realize that there were that many students
20%. We're running at 20%. And that's not uncommon for our area. I did have a conversation with Cole Young, superintendent for Mojave Valley School District this week. We were in a meeting together, and they're running about the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Item 2.9, board member updates. I want to thank you guys all for showing up on August 1st. I think we had a very, very productive meeting. I'd like to see any other times that you guys would like us to meet. I think we should meet that way. Lance and Emily Frommel, right?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yep.
Were very helpful. as well as Dr. Stewart. Came very well prepared. Is there anything else that we need to talk about, board members? Until the community gets hold of the idea that we'll come out and talk to them about public education, I think we need to still be into going to schools.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see me and everybody else visit at least one school in a month. At least.
I'll take Fox Creek back again now that I'm back.
Thank you for taking Fox Creek back. I would like to see that happen, if at all possible. I know with work schedules, Sheila, that you might have
By
problems.
Wednesdays, I've already got planned.
Okay.
Wednesdays are a non-patient day most of the time, so I figure I can spend at least an hour somewhere along the line.
And I'll just put out word to Diamondback and Desert Valley that I'm out for reading. So I just got a brand new book I want to read to a couple classes. So and that'll be helpful. Okay, consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda that you guys would like to have pulled? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barbara Zarsicki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Item 4.1, policy revisions, PA 961 through 1046, and others, second reading. Because they've been presented to us as a humongous group, and because this is our second reading, we can accept these or approve of these all as in a one vote.
Oh.
If that's appropriate for the board, if everybody on the board feels that's appropriate.
I have no objections at all.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any objections? Okay, then I need a motion to adopt policy revisions PA 961 through 1046 and others into our policy book.
Madam President, I make a motion that we do adopt policy revisions PA 961 to 1046 as presented to us.
Got to put the and others in there.
And
And
others.
others.
Because those are, I think those are our
Et al.
our personal, or not personal, but our.
School ones.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? I, Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
Excuse me.
Hi, Barbara Zarsicki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
And Madam President, if I may, we will make sure that in the minutes, because you're not adopting all of the policies that are in that 946 to whatever it was, that range of numbers,
Yeah.
that when Cass does the minutes, that she puts the specific, that specific list of what's being adopted that are from that, and then our alternates, as well as the ones you're deleting, because that was part of that policy package, was that a whole number of those be deleted. So
Yep,
we'll make
yep.
sure that we have the details in the minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, that was my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cassie, for all that extra work. Item 5.1, resolution regarding district-funded purchases of food.
Madam President and board members, there have been, the Auditor General's office has done a complete revision of the USFR, the Unified USFR, School Financial Record. That's what USFR stands for. I always have to think about it, over the last 2 years. And so they'll be coming out with a new version fairly soon. In that process, they identified several items that seem to be fairly common issues in school districts around the state. And so they made recommendations relative to what school districts do to meet the laws. And so one of the things they found was that frequently school districts would use budgetary funding to provide meals or food and beverage for various groups, but would not necessarily have those things approved by the board for that school district. And in some cases, that amounted to a heck of a lot of money. I sat in a presentation about those changes in the USFR this week, and the presenter shared some data about the amount of money spent by some districts. Now, keep in mind that a district like Mesa, that's huge, is likely to spend quite a bit of money if they're going to, do some, even like a welcome breakfast or a staff appreciation at the end of the year. That's going to be quite a bit of money because they have huge staffs. But they weren't doing anything to recognize or to have a board approval for that. So the recommendation to us was to establish a resolution. That way I would not have to bring to you every single one as an individual item during the year. Now, if we have anything other than what's presented in this resolution, then I would need to bring it to you as a board and have you vote on the expenditure of money. And the whole issue is whether or not this process constitutes a gift of public funds. So when it's a recognized thing like this, then it isn't. If we were proposing some huge expenditure of money, then there might be a legitimate question. Given our size budget, if we had $100,000 designated for this kind of thing, that would probably be a red flag for the AG's office and for the auditors, because that would be excessive. But under the circumstances of what we do, this covers us. So that's why you have a resolution to cover most of our historically, the things we do historically. You might be curious about, you're very familiar with the welcome back breakfast and the appreciation lunch, but you might not be so familiar with the meal period student supervision. So for many years, we have teachers and paraprofessionals who do lunch duty or breakfast duty on our campuses, and and we wouldn't have duty people if we didn't do it that way. They end up giving up their lunch time to do that. So we provide their lunch if they want it, so they can eat a school meal on us for giving up that lunch. So that's the item 4. Item 5, because the preschool program is expected to have family-style meals. Okay, so the food is delivered from the cafeteria to the preschool in bowls or platters or whatever, and they sit around a table and they have lunch like we do at home when we have meals at home. So that also requires that the adults be there and be part of that. So we pay for their meal. They've given up their duty-free lunch as well. And then they recommended, and this is probably a good thing, that if we have donations specified for employee meals, and for instance, you saw in the donations that Linda Bowden with Legal Shield donated $300 for one of the meals for our staff. So we're just saying that we're going to spend that money the way that it's been designated. Okay. So I recommend that you pass this resolution.
Question?
Yes, Fred.
I noticed that 4 and 5 list an approved adult meal rate.
Mm-hmm.
What, do we know what that rate is?
As I
roughly?
recall, right now, yeah, we haven't changed our meal prices in a while. As I recall, breakfast might be $2.50 or $2.75 or $3. Lunch might be, I think it's in the neighborhood of $5.
Very cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
Madam President, I make a motion that we adopt the resolution regarding the district-funded purchases of food as it has been presented to us.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzicki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
Okay.
Get moved up there.
Item, excuse me, I just had to sign that so that Fred could sign it. Item 5.2, revised certificated specialist salary schedule.
Madam President and board members, I'm kind of happy that Fred pointed out our number of special ed students. We have, of those 400 plus special needs students, about 350 of them require speech services. And we have positions for 3 speech therapists and 2 speech language pathology assistants. Right now, we have only 1 speech therapist under contract, and that happens to be an international who we contract with separately from the salary schedule and who works remotely with our students. The other 2 positions are open. One of them was open all of last year, and the other one was somebody that we were trying to get here on an H-1B visa. In that case, the State Department declined to support our H-1B visa application for that person because the salary we offered, the salary schedule we offered, was far below what they considered a standard for the U.S. Needless to say, we've not had any luck getting speech therapists. And when we talk to not agencies, but entities that have folks who are certified as speech therapists and they work remotely, the price tends to be $150,000 a year, which is way more than we can pay for any of those positions. However, so that we can attract anybody, I thought that we needed to increase the base and the salary range for therapists. So that includes speech therapists, OT, any therapist that we would hire new. And so on this salary schedule, you see that in column P. And I'm recommending that base is $15,000 higher than the base we had before, because I think it would get us some folks who might be interested in working with our kids and either being here or working remotely with our kids. These 3 positions in the past have all been paid with grant funds. All 3 speech positions have been paid with grant funding. To increase this, the grant that we currently have that would pay for these positions, increasing it this much, the grant could fund 2 of the 3 positions. And so that means that the 3rd position I would pull over into M&O. We have to provide speech services. It's required by federal law. No choice. So I felt this was a better solution than having to figure out how to work with an agency and pay $150,000 or more. So I'm recommending to you that we increase column P to these numbers that I've presented to you here, so that we can try to attract speech therapists for our 2 vacancies.
Are these salaries on that, for therapists that you're proposing, are those pretty in line with other?
It gets much closer. Keep in mind that when the State Department, the federal State Department was looking at it, they're looking at salaries for the whole country.
Yeah.
Well, we know that, we don't compete at all with those. But they were telling us something. They wanted us, I think, in the range 70 to 75,000, as I recall. It's been several months, so don't quote me on that. But I talked with Kate Hall, and so we talked about what do we think would get us the interest, and we felt that this was the case. And I will tell you that it's unlikely for us even to bring somebody in on step one, because speech therapists usually have experience and whatever. So when I've been working in the budget, I frankly have just built in the 65,000 that we're probably looking at for somebody with 10 years experience, and if we find somebody less than that, okay, but realistically, we're looking at 65,000.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the revised certificated specialist salary schedule?
I make a motion that we approve the revised certificated specialist salary schedule as presented.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? I, Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barb Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Okay, item 5.3, transfer of speech therapist position number 501 from grant funding to M&O budget. This is what you were just
This is what I was
talking
just
to,
talking
the
about.
grant.
I probably should have put these two in the other order, but yes, that's, it's changing it in the organizational, and it's essentially adding a position to our payroll. And I always bring to you when we're adding a position to our payroll.
Okay. Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the transfer of the speech therapist position?
I'll
Madam
make a
Pre-
motion to transfer the speech therapist position number 501 from grant funding to the M&O budget.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? I, Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barb Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
5.4, Quaver Music Program.
Madam President and board members, we're really fortunate this year that we have all of our music positions filled. It's been a while, but it's very nice. And the music, our veteran music people have been working a couple of years on the idea of having an age-appropriate program, music program, so that there's a progression from kindergarten on up, certainly up until we start with instruments in middle school and whatever. And so this is the program that they've recommended. It is on review for parents to look at until August 21st. So I'm asking, as I've done in the past, for your approval that pending any concerns that the public might have about the program, if there are no such concerns, that you authorize us to purchase the program on August 24th.
What's the cost of this program?
Oh, I'm sorry.
$6,500 and it's coming out of grants.
Say that again.
$6,500 coming out of grants. That's very reasonable.
Yeah.
For a kindergarten, kindergarten through,
I was waiting for a
I
bigger
was waiting
number.
for 100,000 or more.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to approve, provided there is no public objection that is received within this next review period? Do I have a motion to approve the Quaver Music Program?
I'll make a motion to approve item number 5.4, the Quaver Music Program, provided there's no public objection for our music program.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? I, Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barb Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
5.5, additional bus monitor position.
Madam President and board members, I find myself in a position where after we have riffed some positions in the spring of asking for a position in the transportation department that we don't currently have. So we currently operate 5 special ed buses. So those are buses that have special equipment and those kinds of things for our high needs, door-to-door special needs students. Right now, we have 4 monitors. We need a 5th one to be on that 5th bus. Because the driver's supposed to be driving, and these are kids who have needs. And so I'm requesting that you approve this position.
Are there any questions? I need a motion to approve the additional bus monitor position.
I make a motion, we approve the additional bus manager position.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sobrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barbara Zarzaki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
Item 5.6, Organization of Facilities Department. They are disorganized? We're in trouble.
Actually, they operate like a well-oiled machine. I will tell you that our 4 district facilities employees and the three landscapers literally function like a team. And we've had an opportunity to observe that since the resignation earlier this year from Mark Scott. And yes, we contracted with him to work with us a couple of hours a day to just, make sure that things were operating. He has, today actually was his last day. He has resigned even from that contract at this point. And so I'm recommending that we eliminate that director position, and you'll see in a couple of items in the next item a job description. So distributing those some of those duties across 3 supervisory positions, or 3 positions that we already have. So we're not creating any new positions, we're just reassigning some of the tasks that need to be done to 3 of the 4 facilities folks. Our HVAC person has years and years of experience and doesn't just do HVAC. He deals with all of our doors and our locks and many mechanical kinds of things. Our plumber, obviously he does all the plumbing, and he is a master plumber. And so we've had lots of problems with irrigation, the landscape irrigation. That's actually plumbing. And so he's taking that on. We're moving that over from the landscapers to him because he has that expertise. And then our maintenance person is an all-around carpenter, custodial. I don't want to say handyman because his skills are far beyond a handyman. Okay, so I'm proposing that we move some of the managerial tasks that have been with the director position and distribute those among those 3 folks to keep that well-oiled machine just kind of running along like it is. And we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
This is just nothing more than moving.
It's reassigning tasks, but it is eliminating 1 position. And so I've asked you for a couple of new ones and have recommended elimination of 1 to trade off with that. Technically, I will be their supervisor, but I will tell you I don't have to, I'm sure I'm not going to have a lot of hands-on or a lot of sticking my nose in their business. We've worked with these folks now for 4 years. So, it works really well.
Okay.
And I'm kind of a proponent of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's working, so.
Any other questions, or any questions for Dr. Stewart? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the organization of the facilities department?
I make a motion that we approve the organization of the facilities department with the changes on personnel.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sobrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barbara Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Okay, the next 2, 5.7 and 5.8 deal with the same thing?
They are, yes, and I put them in here contingent on your approval of 5.6.
Okay.
Lots of times I put the job descriptions in the consent agenda, but in this case, because it was tied to this other decision, I wanted to present it to you separately. And these are the job descriptions with those additional tasks that have been reassigned to those individuals.
Okay,
The facilities maintenance 2 person is our 4th district person, and he frequently, he most of the time is working with the plumber, because lots of times it takes two to do plumbing work, one to hold and one to be doing whatever. And he's becoming very competent and very well trained in that area, but he also helps with the other folks as well. So I changed a couple of things in his job description as well.
Okay.
Any questions about those?
So I need a motion to approve the revised job descriptions for district facilities employees.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the revised job description for district facilities employees as has been presented.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sobrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Hi, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzicki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
Item 5.8, with the revision of their job descriptions come a revised salary schedule for non-certificated employees.
So, Madam President, you see column 9, that would be the new one for these folks. It is, excuse me, a $4 an hour raise for these folks. They are taking on some pretty serious facilities management responsibilities. They'll be supervising, one of them will be supervising the landscapers, and another one will be supervising 6 lead custodians, and then indirectly 14 other custodians, and a heck of a lot of paperwork and those kinds of things. So I felt it was a reasonable exchange for the salary that we were paying a director.
So I need a motion to approve the revised salary schedule for non-certificated employees.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the revised salary schedule for non-certificated employees as has been presented to us.
Okay, item 5.9.
I'll second that
Oh,
motion.
excuse me. We have a motion and it has been seconded. Now we need a vote. I'm Melinda Sobrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Hi, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzicki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
Item 5.9. I like the way all 4 of you guys jumped on me. In addition to Carolyn over
Well, I
there.
didn't say anything.
No,
Cass did.
I said
Cass
it.
did.
Okay,
It was just
Cass.
testing to see if we were
Okay.
paying attention,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You
I
haven't fallen
was.
asleep yet?
Item 5.9, memorandum of understanding with Marble Heath.
Health.
Marble Health.
Madam President and board members, Jen and I participated in
Always a place.
a meeting with some folks from Marble Health. If you recall, last year I had an agreement with Cartwheel, that was paid for, services that were paid for some of our students through a grant from the ADE, but for other students it was access students were qualified, and folks with private insurance were qualified. Cost the district nothing. That grant ended. Cartwheel offered to continue services with us for a price, and we declined. This Marble Health does the same kinds of behavioral health services, costs the district nothing. And Jen and I viewed it as another opportunity for our folks. So, in person and locally, we have Mojave Mental Health, we have Southwest Behavioral, and this just gives families a third choice of assistance for their children who need help with behavioral health services. So I recommend that we partner with them
At no cost to the
at
district.
no cost to the district.
How can you beat a deal like that?
Is this something, Dr. Stewart, that they would come to the school and do?
No,
or is
it's an
outside of school?
online, like Cartwheel was, it's online. And recommendations can be made by our counselors, and they will work with our counselors, and it becomes a real partnership. We had a good partnership with Cartwheel last year, and quite a few families and students involved, and lots of communication between families and the school, and it benefited our kids. So, we kind of see this as the same kind of opportunity for our families. And the other nice thing about it is it's 24/7. So, if the student needs services on a Saturday or a holiday, that's available. So, that's not always available in our face-to-face and in-person services available in the community.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with Marble Health as presented.
Second it.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Hi, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barb Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Item 5.10, election of ASBA delegate and alternative.
Alternate.
I'd like to nominate, let's see, Fred. I'd like to nominate Fred as the delegate and Barb as the alternative. If that's okay with the two of you guys? That way Fred will get the experience of doing.
I've already had it for 2 years, let Fred have fun with it.
Yeah.
I can
just
very
thought-
easily sit around the pool and join the pool while you guys are at the meeting.
Yeah, because it'll be an experience for Fred that
Yes.
he probably won't want to repeat.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I vote no?
No.
If you guys don't mind taking those positions.
I'll accept it as alternate.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Then I need a motion to elect Fred as the delegate and Barb as the alternative. ASBA.
I'll make a motion to elect Fred as the delegate and Barb as our alternate delegate for the ASBA election, or ASBA assembly on September 9th.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay. I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
Hi, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barbara Zarzaki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Okay. Item 5.11, discussion and possible action to approve Arizona School Boards Association 2027 draft political agenda.
Can you pull this up? Because I think this is one I had a question on, if I
Yeah.
remember. Towards the bottom, there's green and red and blue, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. All the way at the bottom, I think it's the second to last. Yes, this whole red thing. I'm assuming they're taking the harassment, the bullying, and all of that and putting the green kind of encompassing that idea. Is that what it's doing? Because it's talking about the bullying, it's talking about all of that, and then above it, it's talking about discrimination due to,
Yes, we can.
what's the word?
See the green. Go back to page 7.
There,
There you go.
the immigration. But is it because of the fact that they're saying number 1 basically is taking all that red? Because
Well,
the red's
that
talking
one-
about gun safety, it's talking about bullying and harassment, and there was one other
Yeah,
thing.
but
it was talking
number
about.
1 is related to that school safety grant. It strikes me that that's related to the school safety grant that funds our SRO and our counselors, and they had far more requests for for funding for those positions in the state this year than the legislature had funded. So I suspect that this one, and it looks like it's been here anyway
That's
for a while,
exactly what it is.
to make sure that there's enough money to fund all of the positions, I'm guessing.
I'm just wanting to know where the red is going, because that's being deleted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I haven't looked at it that closely to
Just struck me
to
as funny
see.
that they're getting rid of some of that self-harm
Yeah.
and harassment.
Sheila, would you
Well,
like this to be tabled until?
No,
we get
I'm
more-
I'm just curious I'm sure it's being taken care of somewhere. somehow.
It looks
but-
to me, as I read it, Sheila, it looks like it's saying, for the first two, for 4 and 5, not spending any more money trying to find out the causes and the impact, but actually do something about it. I mean, it doesn't say do something about it, but taking
But
out
that's
this
what I'm
thing
hoping, yes.
of let's not propose that that the legislature spend any more money studying it,
Yeah.
okay?
And then number 6 would be defining it. Let's not spend more money defining.
Yeah,
about it,
yeah. Let's not
That's
spend
what I
money,
figured.
let's not spend money doing the background stuff. I'm guessing that somewhere else there's something that says, let's do something about it.
That was my understanding.
You can direct your delegate
Yes.
to
Yeah.
question this while he's there.
Fred, while you were there, because unfortunately I won't be able to be there, could you inquire about the
Cer-
right items in number
I certainly will.
6?
Yeah, and maybe it's if I may, it may be inquiring about, okay, what is our recommendation, or what are we supporting that takes care of these things, in exchange for studying? And to make sure that they've got something that covers that. That would be very nice.
Got it.
Do we have a mouse?
I thought it was my dog's toy there for a minute.
All right, Fred has a direction.
Boy, do I.
Do we need to make that into a
I'm
motion?
so glad you're the
Yes.
delegate.
All right, we need a motion to direct Fred to have a discussion on the red items,
Well, you also need to
the
move
actual
to approve the whole
deletions.
thing.
The deletions,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
The whole
Um,
document.
yeah, the whole document.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the Arizona School Board Association's 2027 draft political agenda and direct Fred to question the school safety portion of it. That is in red.
I'll
Oh.
second that motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
I, Barb Zarzicki.
I, Sheila Burnett.
Item 6.1, future topics. Well, Dr. Stewart's going to look into Mr. Schnabel's
Yeah.
suggestions. So that might be a future topic.
And hopefully, because our next meeting will be after the conference, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
So then hopefully we'll have something
Yep.
I'll have something to bring back about this.
Any other topics that we would like to?
Excuse me, are you not gone on the 10th?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we'll have to have the board meeting after that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's right. We'll be at the conference.
You'll be at the conference.
Yeah.
Barb's gonna be sitting there.
Upcoming board events, do we have anything special? Anything special going on at the schools? Family night.
Let's see. Family night.
August 20th.
Come on. So our next meeting is going to be the
5 p.m.
17th.
Do site councils have a lot of people there?
No, they have not, but I will tell you that, thanks for asking that, because it gives me the opportunity to tell you that our sites have been scheduling and holding the Title I family engagement meetings, and have had some real success with that this year. So that gives us a little hope about the site council having better success getting some parents at site councils. So that's been a real positive.
Thank you.
So are we gonna move the meeting to the 17th?
That'll be the next time.
Oh, yes, I guess it would be 6.3.
Item 6.3, we were just discussing this. The conference is the 9th through the 11th. 3 of us will be gone. That doesn't leave a quorum, so we got to change our meeting time. So do we want to go the 17th? Whoops. Are you making any budget changes or anything like that? That we should have it before, or can we have it after?
Well, they haven't told me I have any, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. The 15th, yeah.
Monday, the 14th?
Yeah. Or it could be Tuesday, the 15th. I mean, you could do it that day. It's just that I have to have it posted by the 18th. So I am guessing that I'm going to have a budget revision ready. So on the,
Or you have in the past?
I know, yeah.
So do we want the meeting on the 3rd or the 17th?
Oh, please not the 3rd. I won't have a budget ready by the
Okay,
3rd.
so the 17th, would that be too late?
Yes, so we needed either the 14th or the 15th.
Okay.
I would prefer the 14th.
14th or 15th?
Yes.
I could do 14th, I can do
Monday.
I could do 15th, so either day for me.
14 is better for me.
Me too.
Sheila?
Soccer game on the 15th on
So
the field
14th
side,
is
so
better for
14th
you?
is better for me.
Barbara?
Either one's fine.
Okay, so let's do it on the 14th.
14th?
I'll give up my bunco.
We'll start at 5:30 with a workshop as usual. Okay.
And I do know November 12th, I'll be in Atlanta for training, so I won't be here on the 12th.
Okay. You guys all got it in your calendars?
Yep.
All right. Item 7.1, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make motion, we adjourn the meeting?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? I'm Melinda Sabrowski.
I, Fred Rushton.
I, Charlene Diaz.
Hi, Barbara Zarsicki.
Hi, Sheila Burnett.
The meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.